gradients going, the star tool, again, using the space bar to locate the center and holding the command key to get that outer section in. And if you count these out, you can actually get that almost the exact amount that you have there. And just tighten it up a bit. You can let go of the command key to try to adjust it. Shift key keeps it straight. And I just want to move this over to the side here a second. So this particular image, using the X key, brings the color forward. So if I give it a different color, you can see it a little bit better. Maybe a little chartreuse green there. And using the X or the Shift X switches the foreground color, fill and stroke actually back and forth. Okay. And there's one item here. This is a window called Appearance. So I'll just close it, but just go into Window to show it to you. And when this comes up, it brings you the item here, so you can actually modify this section here. And I'll keep the stroke as well, bringing it to this section here. Okay. So what happens is that it gives you the fill and the stroke. You can turn them on or off through this panel. They're kind of working within it. Tells you what the fill stroke is, the items that you have, the color path, and then there's all these effects that you can place and then go back in and modify them right from here. So when some of these have a little bit of a thick line on the other side, you can actually duplicate it just by dragging it down, duplicating the line, and you see that you have this fill in the with two strokes on top of it. And depending on which one it is, I'm going to click in here to change the color, make this into a blue, for example. And you can't see it because they're both the same size, same thickness. But I increase this, and you can see that it's coming on the inside of this because of the stroke. It has it aligning the stroke right down the middle, center of the stroke. If you put it on the inside, you see it's on the inside of the stroke that's above it, or just going to the outside of it. And you have the option to round or flatten off the corners if they'll be shown on that piece. So hiding the layer in here, you can kind of work with it. So you can actually give layers of strokes to give some different ideas to try to illustrate this. Otherwise, you would be trying to put it together with other shapes on top of shapes. But this gives you the added insight into putting these together. So again, this is giving you the gradient pieces, so you can try to illustrate that from the inside out. But it's just trying to show you this new panel appearance to help you with that. There's effects, there's the stacking order you can change. So if I raise this above this, the blue's on top of the orange. So it might give you some different ideas with your illustration placed in here. Okay, so that's into the appearance panel. The other one, when you get down to this far side here, let's see if I can do this one. This is where this one might help, so it has that same star with the appearance in here. So if I take the star shape, again using the arrow keys to minimize the amount. I think there's 12 of these on here. So that's holding the command key, stretching it out. Again, this has the same attributes of here, so I can go through this and modify this. I'm just going to move it over to this, zoom into it a little bit. And again, you have the options that you can work with this. You don't have to use this. It's just trying to give you some different opportunities to place it together. So, clicking on the red, see that? You can adjust the thickness from inside here. That's inside this part. Click on the gradient so you can kind of go through this and see, that you can't modify it too well right from the top there, but it does give you the option working into it from there, so you can kind of build that section to it. Modifying the color over here, again, so you can adjust, and placing the color on this side, for example, is where you have to edit it. You can't edit it right on the screen too easily. But it'll give you that part of it. Just do a linear gradient. And here's where, if I use the gradient tool on this, you can still manipulate it through here just like you would before. And this gives you this option. So here's a couple stars. Here's the the stroke, and you can modify it from that top piece. Okay, so I'll set that one there. Now this one, a little trickier. This is just using the widgets for some reason. Not sure why my computer won't let me get into the widgets, but I'll just show you where they're at in case you try it, because we've done the two pieces for it. So in this case, I'm just going to take a look at the fill for starters, just to open this up. Just change it to none, and just go to the stroke for blue. Just try to change it. So you have to go through some of the functions to it. And I'll just move this over. This guy over here, that. So to get those curves, you would see the widgets. However, they're the little circles that pop up, and it's in lieu of using the opposite piece. But on a separate window, when I open it up, I got to figure out why that's not coming through. But here's where you can adjust the points in here, just almost similar to that section. So that's what's happening on that particular section there. And again, as you go through this, you can change the image, build up the stroke. This is going to be on the outside of the image. And inside they have the elliptical shape. Now remember, you have the align tools that you can work with to build those pieces together. So here I can just change this piece right here and go into the gradients. If you remember pastels, I'll try it just to see what's happening there. So it gives you that option to work with, and aligning the two, you can place it together. Okay, but that's what's happening on here, where you can adjust them and then also add the different strokes onto it. Coming down to these pieces, just take a look at the number that's there. Try to get the gradients on the sections there. When you hold the stars out again, the points are there. The direct selection tool allows you to grab just the handle, grabs you right on the corner point there. So when you see where the point is, you can just adjust it right from that section. Okay, for that one, that's kind of the same for this section here. So it's grabbing the end points to work with that. So you can go 4, 5, 6, 12. There's 12 of them. Shift key for that. Get the command to get it set out for starters. Take the direct selection tool. And just remember to click on it once in order to activate it. Otherwise it'll take the whole shape. Modify that up there. Stretching that piece. And let's see. Okay, so it's kind of giving you, so it gets similar as they go, but trying to get you to think as creatively as you can think of to actually put this together for your own designs here. That gives you that shape. Let's see. And then just the stroke, trying to add some strokes. Like I said, you could add pieces to it, but with the appearance panel, it gives you a little more flexibility to it for adding that on there. Just changing the color, changing the stroke size, and just adjusting the alignment to that stroke to help you with that piece. Okay, so see where you're at on those images there. This last one just added into here is when you can take the stroke. This is also listed up in here. And when you give it a gradient, here's the part that goes along the path, across the path, and sets the stroke so it travels that direction. So you can try that one too.